Hey, what's up you guys? Alright, so I wanted to make this video because I feel like the last, I don't know, long time, maybe like four years, 4 years, I haven't made any New Year's resolutions. Like I haven't tried, you know, to change anything about myself. And I don't think that I need to change per se, but there are things that I need to actually work on that I kind of procrastinate. And I think we all do that shit. And I know it's a little cliche to be like, okay, here are my New Year's resolutions, but there are some things that I feel we all do. You know, we are just constantly distracted. We don't actually look at the big picture, and there are a few things I need to work on. So one is going to be stop stressing. I don't think I'm going to be able to completely be able to de-stress, but I feel like I am so worried about every aspect of my life. Like every little detail has to be perfect, and like in my mind I have this idea of perfection, and I'm like, why isn't anything like this? And I get so down about everything, and I have to stop, you know, because the position I'm in my life, it's where I am. Like at this current time I can't change it, and you know, it's never gonna be what I imagine. Like, you know, I'm never gonna be like this amazing, successful, like, you know, like movie star like I thought I was when I was a kid, you know what I mean? Like, and it's hard, you know, because as you get older you realize, like, fuck, life isn't like what I thought it was gonna be, and that's okay. So the next thing I want to do is be more confident. I feel like I can put on a good face, you know, I have a good face. Now I can like pretend that I'm confident, but I don't feel like I really am. I think I just kind of fake it, and you know, I don't have the self-confidence to put out more videos and more content that I want to, because I feel like, okay, it's not good enough, it's not perfect, so I can't put it out. Like I don't want to do anything unless it's like I'm amazed by it, because I feel like who's gonna care? And it's hindering me, you know, by doing things like that. The next thing I want to do is have more creative outlets, and I feel like I procrastinate about this all the time. You know, I used to write like all the time, just nonstop, and I stopped doing it because I felt like there was no point. Like I wasn't amazing, like no one's gonna read it, so what's the point? But it really helped me get out my frustrations and my concerns and how I was feeling with my life, and it was such a great positive outlet, and I've kind of lost touch with that, and I would want to get back in touch with that part of myself again. I don't know where I was in the counting bit, but I want to try to be a more positive person. I feel like this past year I've just been overwhelmed with negativity, and it's really broken me as a person. I feel like I've become so hateful towards other people, not like in particular, just in general, because you know, this really stemmed from when I became vegan. I got really down on people, and I was just like, oh my god, how are we doing this? And you know, it was just kind of like a snowball effect after that. I was just like, oh my god. And then you see people every day, like, you know, not hold the door for someone, or just be rude to someone for no reason, and like you see that all the time, and it really, like, it sucks. And I have to remember that just because the majority of people may be this way doesn't mean everyone is, and who knows what they're going through. Like everyone is going through a struggle that we don't know anything about, and you have to just understand, like, maybe you would be that same way if you were in their shoes, and it is really hard to do that. Like I have such a hard time with it, but I'm gonna try to be more positive about things and have a positive outlook, because I do notice that when I'm more positive, I feel like positivity just sort of comes to me, and since I've been so negative, I've just been getting shit. I want to try and learn something in particular. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a language, it could be learning to actually play the guitar, you know, because I know a little bit, but once again, I'm like, oh, I suck at it, it's never going to be good enough, so it goes all the way back. Like everything needs everything needs like just a complete makeover. My whole life needs a makeover right now, and I think this is the year it needs to happen, because yeah, this past year has just me been like obsessing about getting older, about how I didn't do anything, and it's like instead of obsessing about these things, I have to actually work on them. And it's so hard for me to think that because I've been through so much shit in my life. You know, being like basically on your own at 15 years old, it's hard, you know, and it sucks too because people don't understand. They're like, oh my god, you didn't go to school, like you didn't do this. I'm like, well, it was kind of hard when you're working full time, you know. It's just it was a mess, and things could have been differently. I didn't really have any actual guidance, like parental guidance, and during that time. So I mean that has a big factor in, you know, how things turned out now, and like why I'm still, you know, living paycheck to paycheck. And you know, I mean, I can go back to school, and there's part of me that's just terrified about it. It gives me the worst anxiety. I had great grades in school. I have such bad anxiety, social anxiety, and test anxiety is the worst thing for me. I don't know what it is. It's like, I'll know everything. You put that paper in front of me, my heart just starts racing, and it's like, it's just terrifying. But I don't know, like maybe that's something I should look into. But I was thinking if I do go back to school, I want it to be like a tech school, to learn something just, you know, offhand, because I feel like I've been traveling. I've traveled, and I've kind of finally like just settled down, and I need to focus on that now. And I think it'll be really easy once I move, because right now we're in a really pricey apartment. Like it's pretty pricey for where we are. And once we get a cheaper place, it'll be a lot easier. I won't feel like every penny, like I need every penny just so I can pay the bills, you know. And it will get easier, and I guess I've been just in this transitional period for so long that it's just really stressful, you know. But I'm gonna get there, and I guess that's another resolution too, is just keep looking ahead. Don't think about what's going on. Like, don't look at the ground nonstop. Be like, oh my god, I could trip on that rock. Like, just keep walking. Just look straight ahead. Keep going to your goal, and stop fucking around. I want to watch this next year and be like, okay, I did at least one of these things because I need to change. And I don't need to change. Like, I don't want to change who I am as a person, but I need to work on some shit. And I think we all do. And I'm finally at the age now where I know who I am, and I'm not ashamed of that person. Like, there are times where I don't like myself. I think we're all like that. But I want to work on just bettering myself as a person, making my life happy, because I feel like so much of my life was dedicated to making everyone else happy, and then when it came time to look at myself and be like, oh my god, what have I done with my life? I've spent so much of my life just absorbed in other people, trying to make them happy, and you know, always focusing on them. And then now where I am, it's like I don't have anyone around, and it's so hard to not focus on someone else. It's kind of weird. And now I've kind of been forced to deal with myself, to be like, all right, what do you need to work on? And it's the scariest thing, you know. And I do deal with perfectionism. Like, I have I have a perfectionist personality, and it's hard to deal with me. I feel like, you know, if things aren't done a certain way, if the house doesn't look a certain way, like if things aren't neat and clean, I feel like I'm gonna have a panic attack. And it's like borderline OCD, I guess, but I'm not really that OCD. Like I can be messy, but it has to be a certain way. Like the mess has to be a certain way. It's only to a certain extent. Then I freak out. But and I also have to accept people for who they are more. I feel like I'm too judgmental sometimes. You know, it's like I am, but I'm not. Like, I think everyone should work the way I do, and that's not a good way to be. I have to start to accept people for who they are. No one is perfect. I'm not perfect, and it'll never be perfect, and that's okay. It just sucks that it can't be that way, but, you know, that's life, man. Life is not easy. But, and I'd also like to work on making more connections with people. That's something I have a really hard time with, because I'm so afraid of people. I've been hurt a lot in my life by people I trusted, you know, and that's made me very closed off as a person. And that's probably the one thing I dislike the most about myself, and I really want to work on that, because there are so many good relationships I could be having, and I'm not, because of these problems. I just like to connect with people, and I think this is a good way to do it, even though I'm afraid. I'm afraid of being judged and like all this shit and all like the negativity that comes with it. It scares me, but this is how I feel safe connecting with people because I'm in control of it, which is terrible, but it's true. So I know how I'm being perceived, and I can like edit it to make it look better, which is, you know, that's why YouTube's a thing. I hope you guys like this video. It's just me rambling, but I really want to put this out there so it's something that I can work on and just try to, I just want to be a more positive person this year. Last year I was miserable like almost the whole time. And I've had problems with this in the past, but last year was particularly bad. It wasn't the hardest year of my life. That was probably like a year or two before that. That was the hardest year of my life. I'll talk about that more. This isn't a story time channel. Yeah, so thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.